small town of Ravensbrook had always been enveloped in an eerie fog. But lately, an even darker shadow lurked in its alleys and corners. Young women were disappearing without a trace, leaving behind a trail of whispered rumors and terrified whispers. Detective Emily Harper, known for her sharp instincts and solving impossible cases, faced a spine-chilling mystery. It was a moonless night when Emily received a call about another missing girl. She arrived at the scene, a desolate alley strewn with fallen leaves and the distant hum of a flickering street lamp. As Emily scanned the area, a sinister feeling crawled up her spine. This was no ordinary crime. This was the work of something supernatural. Determined to unravel the mystery, Emily delved into the town's history. Old tales spoke of a vampire who had once terrorized Ravensbrook, feasting on the lifeblood of the innocent. Most believed it to be a mere legend, but Emily, with a mix of skepticism and a gut feeling, couldn't shake the thought that the past had come back to haunt the town. As Emily followed the breadcrumbs left by the vanishing victims, she uncovered a pattern that led her to an abandoned mansion on the outskirts of town. The surrounding air was thick with an otherworldly energy. Undeterred, Emily approached the decrepit building, its windows shattered and covered in a thick layer of dust. The creaking door echoed through the empty halls as Emily cautiously stepped inside, a chill running down her spine at the damp air. The only sound was the echo of her footsteps on the creaky floorboards. It was then that she heard a soft, haunting melody, like a distant lament, echoing from the depths of the mansion. Following the eerie music, Emily descended into the basement, where she discovered a hidden chamber. Ancient symbols adorned the walls, and in the center of the room lay the missing girls, unconscious and pale. At the far end of the chamber stood a figure cloaked in darkness, his eyes glowing crimson. "Detective Harper, how nice of you to join us," the vampire hissed, revealing elongated fangs. "I've been watching your every move." Emily, undeterred by the supernatural entity before her, drew the blessed wooden spike, the only weapon that could take down the vampire. "Your reign of terror ends here," she said, preparing herself for the vampire's attack. The vampire hissed and lunged at her with unnatural speed, but Emily evaded him with ease. A fierce battle ensued, with the detective using every ounce of her strength and wit to combat the ancient evil. Just as Emily gained the upper hand, the vampire, desperate and cornered, bit her, injecting a potent venom. However, the vampire had underestimated Emily. With an uncharacteristic strength, she fought off the effects of the venom, enabling her to drive the stake through the creature's heart. As the vampire disintegrated into ash, a strange transformation began. The room filled with an eerie silence, broken only by the faint sobs of the girls awakening from their trance. To Emily's horror, their eyes glowed with the same crimson hue as the vampire's. The room was now filled with a chorus of haunting whispers as the once victimized women rose, reborn as creatures of the night. It was a bittersweet victory for Emily. She had rid Ravensbrook of one vampire, but inadvertently unleashed a new breed of darkness upon the town. Outside the mansion, the night whispered of secrets yet to unfold. The slumbering town now bore the burden of a new, chilling legacy. Detective Emily Harper emerged from the mansion, the weight of the encounter pressing on her shoulders. The crimson glow of the newly turned vampire's eyes pierced through the darkness, and the air was heavy with a sense of impending doom. The chilling melody from the vampire's lair seemed to linger, now carried by the mournful wind that swept through the desolate mansion. As Emily stepped out into the cold night, she was met with an unsettling sight. The fog that had always clung to Ravensbrook had thickened, shrouding everything in an ethereal mist. The once familiar streets now felt like an alien landscape, where shadows murmured of ancient secrets, and the unseen eyes of the newly turned vampires watched from hidden corners. Word of the confrontation spread through the town, and fear gripped Ravensbrook like never before. The townsfolk spoke in hushed tones, sharing tales of the detective who had faced the supernatural, unknowingly releasing a darkness that now roamed their streets. Doors were bolted shut, and windows were tightly sealed against the encroaching night. As Emily continued her investigation, she discovered that the vampire she had vanquished was not the only one. There were ancient bloodlines entwined with the town's history, each seeking to reclaim their former glory. The newly turned women, once victims, now moved with an otherworldly grace and an insatiable hunger. The abandoned mansion became a nexus for the vampiric activity, a place where the creatures gathered to discuss their plans and revel in their newfound powers. Emily, realizing the gravity of her actions, sought to undo the curse she unwittingly unleashed upon Ravensbrook. With the help of Amadeus Stoltz, a brilliant scholar in occult lore Emily met while in university, they delved into the ancient texts and arcane rituals needed to battle the newborn vampires. The town, now a battleground between the living and the undead, teetered on the edge of darkness. The scholar warned Emily about the fragile balance she disrupted, cautioning her that the only way to mend the veil between worlds was to confront the vampire bloodlines at their source. Armed with this newfound knowledge and a determination to rectify her mistake, Emily and Stoltz faced the ancient vampires in a climactic showdown. While Emily faced the ancients, Stoltz concentrated on his arcane chants and rituals. The battle unfolded in the eerie glow of the moon, casting long shadows that danced with the spectral energy of the supernatural clash. As the final blows were struck, the town fell silent. Emily stood amidst the dissipating mist, the weight of her choices etched on her face. The crimson glow in the eyes of the once victimized women faded, leaving them in a state of confusion and vulnerability, but able to return to their families, their humanities fully restored. Stoltz's rituals had severed the connection between the ancient bloodlines and their creations, releasing the town from the grip of the supernatural. Yet, left in the aftermath was a town scarred by the haunting memories of that fateful night. The encounter with the undead left its marks on Ravensbrook, and the supernatural whispers would be remembered for generations. Detective Emily Harper, haunted by her encounter with the vampires, left Ravensbrook forever changed by the darkness she faced, and the chilling realization that actions could have dire consequences, some too terrifying to even imagine.